Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Myself is Satpathi. I'm a principal technical account manager in AWS, and I'll have Sandeep Mohanty, senior solution architect from AWS as well. And we'll be talking how you can leverage generative AI to simplify your security event log analysis, especially with Amazon Q developer. Our previous speaker was talking Amazon Q for the developer. We'll be leveraging more of the Amazon Q for business. So let's get started. The three primary topics we'll touch on: the primary use cases that our customers are using on generative AI in security, and especially how you can leverage for simplifying how your engineers and developers are sifting through logs for insights and executive summaries. And then Sandeep will going to talk about architectural patterns to query security logs in natural language using Amazon Q. And then we will touch base with a kind of a business application, building a chatbot for securing insights using Amazon Q Business. So before we dive into the topic for today, I wanted to ask that how many of you have ever had to sift through hundreds of pages of log when your website is already compromised or maybe down? Most of us have been there, right? Maybe all of us have been there that something happened and now we have to sift through multiple pages of log and multiple dashboards to figure out what's really going on. So scrambling to pinpoint the issue while every second really counts. That's why quickly analyzing security logs is very crucial for us. Not just detecting threats and kind of maintaining compliance for your website, but sometimes for getting systems back online faster. We have seen that traditional log analysis, what we have done before, is often complex. It might require specialized skills and time-consuming queries to write. In today's world, manually sifting through logs and writing queries just doesn't make sense. Simplifying security log analysis with automation and now with AI-driven insights can enhance your ability on threat detection, reduce response time, and of course, it will lower your operational overhead. So let's explore how generative AI is taking security to the next level. Here are a few example use cases. If you look at automating routine tasks, with automation, you can already do patching and many other security operations. Now with Gen AI, you can handle further repetitive security operations tasks, such as generating threat intelligence report and creating compliance documentations, detect anomalies and configurations. The next thing I have here is enhancing threat detection. By analyzing user and entity behaviors, Gen AI can identify anomalies indicative of potential threats, improving the efficiency of security event management and posture management systems that we are using. The next thing is developing playbooks and recommendations. Gen AI can draft response playbooks based on your regular actions taken by your engineers. So it can kind of look at the historical actions your engineers are taking and can draft your response playbooks that's necessary for your production kind of maintenance and whatnot. And recommend next steps using chatbots to provide responses about policies and best practices. Other use case can be translating queries and language. As I was saying, in today's world, writing queries manually just doesn't make sense. The Gen AI can translate natural language queries like human language into vendor-specific search language, facilitating more efficient investigations with security logs. AWS has been leveraging machine learning across its security services for years. Customers are already leveraging AI and ML-powered AWS security services. For example, here I have Amazon Guard Duty. It uses machine learning to continuously monitor for suspicious and malicious activity to protect AWS accounts and workloads. Amazon Detective, it uses machine learning to identify patterns and correlations between security events, and then uses generative AI to summarize findings into groups to simplify and accelerate security investigations. Amazon Inspector, it also uses machine learning to identify new resources in your AWS account, identify if they have known vulnerabilities to patch, and uses machine learning to perform network reachability tests to identify potential sources of exposure. Amazon Macie, it also uses machine learning to identify potentially sensitive data in Amazon S3 buckets and flags it for additional security controls and protections. Another one I have is IAM Access Analyzer. It uses automated reasoning, it's another form of machine learning, to mathematically verify IAM access policies to match what your governance policies that you have rules set for. Amazon Code Guru, our previous speaker was talking about Amazon Code Guru. It's a code vulnerability scanning application that uses machine learning to identify potential vulnerabilities in source code before you even compile and deploy into your production. So these are the machine learning, AI, and ML-powered services already being used by our customers. AWS thinks security at every layer of the generative AI stack. So let's look at the stack here. At the bottom of the stack, we have a range of specialized hardware, like Nitro systems, GPUs, Trainium, and Inferentia, to support generative AI workload efficiently. Each of these serves a unique purpose in optimizing performance, cost, and scalability for AI training and inference. Amazon SageMaker, it's a fully managed service for building, training, and deploying your machine learning models at scale. The Nitro system, if you look at for security, it provides enhanced security that continuously monitors, protects, and verifies the instance hardware and software. It uploads virtualization resources to dedicated hardware and software and kind of minimize the attack surface in general. Nitro Systems' security model is locked down and prohibits administrative access, eliminating the possibility of human error and tampering. In the middle layer, we have Amazon Bedrock. It's a fully managed service that offers a choice for you for high-performing foundation models to use. For example, AI21 Labs, Anthropic, Cohere, DeepSeek, including Amazon Nova, that you can utilize through a single API. Along with a broad set of capabilities, you need to build generative AI applications with security, privacy, including responsible AI. At the top layer, we have Amazon Q Business, Amazon Q Developers, and Amazon Q in QuickSight. These services, powered by Amazon Q, is AWS's generative AI assistant, designed to enhance productivity across different use cases in your organization and leverage LLMs and other foundation models behind the scene. AWS Security Lake here is an example. How many of you have seen or already used AWS Security Lake? Just curious. All right, I'm sure you have seen it. It aggregates all kinds of security signals across AWS services. And not just AWS services, it aggregates security signal across on-prem and third-party software, third-party sources that you are using into a purpose-built data lake stored in your account. So think about it, all security signals, including your on-prem and whatnot, is all aggregated and kept in your account. And now, it not only does that, it actually normalizes the data into an open cybersecurity framework format, so it's is ready for a seamless analysis for you. By leveraging Amazon Q Business, what you can do is that huge amount of data in this security lake, now you can accelerate insights with generative AI-powered analysis and automating anomaly detection, security event correlation. Sandeep will going to talk even more architectural patterns that how some of the implementations you can do to automate this generation of the insights from the security lake. Let's talk about Amazon Q Business. It's our generative AI-powered application to revolutionize how your workplace engages with your enterprise content. It makes generative AI securely accessible to everyone in your organization, leveraging your company's content, data, and systems. Leveraging Amazon Q's advanced agentic capabilities, companies can streamline processes, get to decisions faster, and help employees be more productive. It makes it easier to get you fast, relevant answers to pressing questions, solve problems, generate content, and take actions on your behalf. Amazon Q Business easily and securely connects to commonly used systems and tools so that it can synthesize everything and provide tailored assistance, empowering your systems to be more data-driven, creative, even more productive. It supports access to a variety of data sources, as you see in the left side, like Salesforce, SharePoint, Amazon S3, Google Drive, and many other data sources. So Amazon Q can tap into the data you already have into your variety of data sources. Now, it uses IAM Identity Center to support document access control lists. This ensures that users get answers only from documents that you have access to. Let's take a closer look how Amazon Q is doing it. When you connect your data sources, Q connector crawls and creates a semantic index for quick retrieval. As part of this crawling process, it also ingests the document permissions that specify which user and groups have access to specific documents. The final response that is generated are only from contents that the user is authorized to access. So you do not have to worry about sensitive information being leaked across teams or across employees. Let's say you have a combination of structured and unstructured data, and that's pretty much a normal scenario in our customers. Amazon Q allows you to seamlessly access and analyze structured and unstructured data directly from either service to unify your data sources, repositories, as well as enterprise systems. Think about the result it will give: a powerful combination of natural language understanding plus data visualization for your employees. Q in QuickSight is another service that enhances business productivity using generative BI capabilities to turn insights into impact faster and accelerate decision-making for you. You get new dashboard capabilities that allow business analysts use natural language prompts to build visuals in seconds, build complex calculations with ease, and refine visuals as well instantly. Amazon Q in QuickSight makes it easier for business users to use existing dashboards much better to kind of find the key insights with executive summaries, new context-aware data, and give you a Q&A experience out of your dashboards. It helps you generate interactive and customizable narratives using natural language prompts. Here are a few examples. Q in QuickSight enables any business user to make better decisions faster as well by providing an AI-assisted experience, enables analysis to quickly build and refine visuals, do calculations using natural language. It gives you a Q&A experience for business users where they can ask imprecise questions in natural language and get more comprehensive answers in visuals and narrative, both formats, in few seconds. So that's where the complexity of your security log analysis, and now Sandeep will going to talk about some of the implementation that you can do and the architectural patterns that you can adopt.
Next slide. Thank you, Manas, and thanks everybody for sticking around. I know this is the last session, and I'm the only one standing between you and the after party. So, all right, so now for the fun part. So Manas did talk about the importance of using these generative AI tools and why it makes sense to use these tools instead of writing all these queries and spending a lot of time and doing this heavy lifting. So what I'm going to do is show you really how easy it is today to get these capabilities into your tools, into your applications. So as you might have seen, some of the services already support generative AI capabilities. Like CloudTrail does that today, CloudWatch does that today, OpenSearch, and of course, Amazon Q. But that's not the only place where you have your security logs. They're spread across various different repositories, and you have them in Security Hub, you have them in your VPC flow logs. So what I want to show you is some patterns which you can adopt to have the same capabilities very easily. The first one is CloudTrail Lake. So if you're familiar with this service, what it does is you have your CloudTrail. This is a no ETL solution. It's already there, offered out of the box. And it lets you do things like, it has a query generator support. So you give your questions in natural language. And say, generate a query for me. You run the query, and you get your results. So in this case, I just asked it to find out all the users who were access denied. So I know you get a result like this. What you could also do is throw that into a dashboard. It has a dashboard which summarizes everything that happened in CloudTrail, create some graphs, and you can take a look at this. But if you want to take it a step further, you can also integrate that with something like QuickSight, which is a full BI tool, and it generates all kind of reports. You can slice and dice your data, again, without writing any code. You just connect the same event source to it, connect it to Athena, which is a query engine, and you can just run queries over there. And with the QuickSight integration, all your questions could be in natural language. But what about VPC flow logs? So that doesn't have any built-in support. But the same pattern here, what I'm doing is you're getting the VPC flow logs. There's a Kinesis fire hose in between, which delivers that to S3. So you need not use that. The only reason that is over there is if you want to enrich your flow logs with more attributes. Things like I want to also add with the flow logs the security group it came from, or like a cost allocation tag to find out which instances are sending the most data. And once that is in S3, the same pattern follows. You store the schema in Glue and use Athena to run your queries. And with the QuickSight integration, you get all your reports. Slight variation of that. In this one, you can combine your DNS query logs along with your VPC flow logs. So now you can find out which domain is sending this data, how much data was sent by a particular IP, and you generate graphs, something like this. You create a dashboard in Q. Now, if you want a more comprehensive look inside your security logs, so Manas talked about the security lake. And in this scenario, you get pretty much all your logs centralized into a security lake. And typically, what you would do is the best practice deployment is you would deploy security lake in a separate account. All your member accounts are towards the left. And on the right, what you see is the subscriber account where you are accessing these logs or you're running these queries. So this gives you a pretty much comprehensive insight, a holistic view into all your logs. And again, hook it up with Athena, and you can run your queries in natural language. So in this case, one of the things was find me everything that you found with Security Hub along with the control ID. So you get things like that, or what did inspector find? So all of these logs are in one place, and you're running your queries just giving in natural language. Well, so that was one of the ways you can do it. Like, what was different about this one is you ask a specific question, you get a specific response, and pretty much you are working within the BI tool within QuickSight. Whatever you can do within QuickSight, you can do that. But what about like if you wanted a more like interactive experience, like more like a chatbot? So there is this service like Manas touched upon is Q for Business. And within Q for Business, what you have is the capability to build these applications very easily. Oops, sorry, did I go up? I'm sorry. Give me, I think I messed up my. OK, there you go. Sorry about that. OK, so very easily, it's a 5-step process. Pretty much what you're doing is you create an app from the management console. You create an index. You put your data in like a central repo, like in S3. And once you are done with that, all you need to do is just deploy this app. And pretty simple. Then after that, you are done. You could set it up with something like this. So you have like, what this is doing is automating this whole process. So with EventBridge, you create a scheduler. And that scheduler fires off this 4 different scripts that gets all your, say, your security, IAM security policies, your bucket policies, and anything else that you might have from your third-party sources, and puts it in S3 bucket. So here you don't need to worry about the schema and all. It is automatically generated. Like Q developer would, Q for Business would figure this out and lets you do the Q&A, but you get a more of a chatbot-like experience. So. And again, even the scripts, I didn't write it. I just asked like Q for developer to just create the scripts for me. You can just say like, list all my policies, list all my roles, and you would have that script. And you can just fire it off through EventBridge. And this is like how an application would look. Basically very simple. You can customize this one. You can change the logo. And once you're done, you can start asking questions. So for example, what IAM roles have trust policies that allow external accounts? And it lists out all the policies. And I've just said put it in a table format. It can do that. Another example. So here, which security groups allow unrestricted traffic for unauthorized ports? So you can keep talking with your chatbot and like start getting insights without writing like any SQL queries or any kind of code that is necessary to do that. There are a few more examples here. Again, this one is your S3 buckets. Tell me the buckets that have encryption of a certain type. Or list all accounts that have MFA not enabled on root access. So what you're seeing here is a much better, richer user experience. Lets you look at all your configurations and just doesn't require you to write complicated queries to find all these things out. So that's all I had. I think we are coming up on time. Happy to take any questions. Anyone? Sure. No ETL? Yeah. No, for these ones, you don't need, if you're building a Q for Business application, you don't need any ETL. ETL in this sense is as long as you can get your files into S3, that's all that is required. You don't need to do any kind of transformations. Q automatically recognizes many different formats. It could be in JSON, CSVs, many different formats. And typically, if you look at all the logs that AWS services generate, they are in this JSON or a CSV format. So to that extent, that's all you have to do.
So my question is, what about the Informatica ETL and how they will
If you have what?
What will be the contribution of the Informatica ETL in the market now?
Well, Right. Well, see, again, I kind of, maybe I oversimplified a little bit for this use case. I'm sure, you might have security solutions which have data generated in a many different kind of format, which needs to be transformed to a certain way that this can understand. But as long as it's the most popular formats like JSON and all, for those type of things, you generally don't need ETL. But as I said, it doesn't have to be. All these logs doesn't have to come from native AWS services. They could come from any third-party security solution you have. It could be a homegrown solution that you have, right? And maybe you are writing data in a different format there. So in those cases, probably you are doing some ETL, doing some transformations, and you can use some AWS services to do that. But in that case, it might be required. But to the extent of the type of logs that AWS services generate, this should be pretty much what you need to do. Well, that's relative. I mean, speed, how fast is it? It's relative. I'm sure there are definitely use cases for ETL. I don't think it changes the ETL market in any way. You will still continue to do that for analytics and all. But again, I'm just focused on the security logging aspects of it. And for scenarios like this, which covers most of your use cases, you don't need kind of any ETL. But yeah, agree with you. There's definitely a place for ETL, Sure. Anyone else?
I got to use this. I just had one question. In one of the slides, you showed 4 scripts will be executed.
Oh, yeah.
I was just curious, those scripts.
This one?
Yeah, these scripts, do they need to be written by a developer, or this tool is going to?
This one. Yeah, I mean, Q for developer can do that for you. I mean, any kind of model you have, if you're using familiar with Bedrock, you can ask Bedrock hey, just give it a prompt. Can you write me a Python script which will enumerate all the IAM policies that I have in an AWS account? Within seconds you get that script. Similarly, I mean, I built this sample application, and I didn't have to write a single line of code. All I did was ask the model to generate the scripts, got that, and just hooked it up, just hooked that up into a Lambda. So, I mean, that is now Nova Cloud. So we just released it last week. Just like ChatGPT, you can just go there and type your prompt and say, hey, generate some code. You can do that.
And you can do it in different languages, whatever language?
It can. I mean, it supports many different languages. I chose Python because that's what I understand the most. Okay. But you could say, write it in Node.js or Java.
So it will do it for you.
Yeah.
OK, thank you.
So yeah, that's the point. It doesn't make sense now with all these tools available. You really don't have to become an expert in writing SQL, complicated SQL queries, doing this, joins and all. But you can just ask a model to do that for you.
OK, thank you. Thank you. Here we go.
Anyone else? OK. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.